Welcome to Brad's Corner, a space within Empowerography where I share the reflections, realizations, and soul truths that come from the incredible conversations I've had with women from around the world. This is where we slow down, take a breath, and dive deeper into the lessons, the light, and the moments that have moved me, both as a man and as a human being. My hope is that something I share here resonates, sparks a thought, or ignites a light within you too. I'm Brad Walsh, and this is Brad's Corner. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Brad's Corner for episode number 7. I am Brad Walsh, the host of the Empowerography Podcast, and this is where I step away from the interview chair and share what I have learned and the insights that I've gained from interviewing over 800 incredibly extraordinary women. Now, today's episode of Brad's Corner, I wanted to take a little bit of a diversion or different direction. And this is in honor of Men's Mental Health Month, the month of June. I want to talk about something that has been sitting on my chest for a couple of weeks now. So with that being said, let's dive in. I have spent 9 years now amplifying and elevating women's voices. Through my lens as a photographer, through 800 plus interviews, conversations, and 782 episodes of this podcast. Through every conversation, every platform, every stage that I've stood on, my mission has been crystal clear. Lift women up, make spaces for their stories, and champion their power. And I'm never going to stop doing that. That will never change. This is my purpose and my mission, and that's not up for debate. But about a week and a half ago, well, last week actually, I posted something a little bit different. And today, I wanted to talk about and share with you why I chose to do that. A good buddy of mine, I'm not going to share his name because it doesn't matter. He has been going through and dealing with some really tough stuff lately. Not work stress, not money stress, something that runs a little bit deeper than that. On one of our chats, our catch-up sessions, he sat with me and said, Brad, I genuinely don't understand what women want from men anymore. And I said, well, what do you mean? What does that mean? He said, they tell us they want the protector, the strong provider, the guy who has it all together, who can handle anything. But they also want the guy who's vulnerable and who's willing to open up and share, show his feelings, and share exactly what's going on inside. So he decided to listen, take that in, and he took the leap. He opened up to someone he was trying to build something with. He shared exactly how he was feeling. And guess what? She ran the other way. She ran the other direction. Wanted nothing to do with him after that. So here's the part that really got me. You guys, this isn't just his story. I hear this from men all the time. The exact moment they show up the way that they've been told they're supposed to show up, open, honest, vulnerable, present, some of them end up getting punished for that. So what happens then? Well, what do you think happens? They're going to go back to silence. They put the armor back on that they've been wearing. And that silence is costing us men everything. I want to tell you something that happened last year that I think about quite a bit, actually, at the Empowerography Live conference that we put on every year. Last year was the 5th year, and we've always done it virtually. This virtual event built entirely around amplifying women's voices. We made the decision to host a men's panel. And I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't know how it was going to land. I wasn't even sure if it belonged there. But what happened was, it was one of the most powerful panels and moments of the entire conference. The women in that audience were moved in a way I genuinely did not expect. The comments kept saying the same thing over and over. I had no idea men felt this way or dealt with this. Some of them said that it completely shifted the energy of the whole event. And so I want you to really sit with that for a second. The women who love the men in their lives, their partners, their fathers, their brothers, their sons, had no idea what those men were carrying, because the men never said anything. They kept quiet because we were never supposed to speak up. I want to walk you through some numbers, not to scare you, because these aren't just numbers. These are fathers, brothers, sons, friends. Men die by suicide at nearly 4 times the rate of women. In 2024, over 42,000 men across North America died by suicide. That is not a statistic. That is fathers, brothers, sons, and friends gone in silence. Only 45.9% of men struggling with mental illness got any kind of treatment last year. And the number one reason men give for not seeking help? I thought I could handle it on my own. Now, I want you to sit with that for a second. Let that sink in. Let that resonate. Let that really land. We have raised generations of men to believe that silence and stoicism is strength, that needing help or asking for help is weakness, that handling it alone by yourself with no one else, just grit your teeth and push through, is what really makes you a man. And guess what? It's actually the thing that is killing us. And I'm not speaking in metaphors right now. I'm speaking literally. Here's what makes this so dangerous. Men's pain doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like irritability. Sometimes it looks like anger. Sometimes it's pulling away from people that we love, that we care about in our lives. Sometimes it's drinking too much, working too much, or disconnecting from the people and the things that actually matter in our lives. We have gotten so good at performing fine, in air quotes, that the people who love us don't even know or realize that we're drowning. It's easy to forget about the men, you know? They're supposed to be the strong ones, the ones with all the answers, the ones who hold it together no matter what's going on in our lives. Except nobody ever told us what we're supposed to do when we're the ones falling apart. I posted about this last week, and I want to share with you what happened when I posted, because it actually proved my entire point in a way that I honestly didn't expect or imagine. The post went up on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, the platforms, and the comments started coming in and the reactions. But here is where I want to point this out. Here was something very interesting. It was women. 99.9% of the responses came from women, sharing how much this resonated, telling me about the men in their lives. Not one single man commented on my post publicly. Not one. Think about that for a second. Let that land. I just wrote an entire post about men suffering in silence, and the response to it proved the silence is real. It's right there in black and white. It's you can't make this shit up. The women showed up. One woman even said that she was reading the post to her husband on social media, and he was sitting right beside her. The men stayed quiet. Even here, even with this permission slip to talk about things, to try and open up the dialogue, open up the conversation. One woman left a comment about a client of hers. A man who reached out for help right after being released from the hospital following a suicide attempt. And she said something I have not been able to stop thinking about. She said, "It is strength to ask for help. This is not a sign of weakness." And then, this is the one that really got me. The woman running her networking group. as I said, she shared the post and her husband was sitting right beside her. She read the entire post out loud to her husband while he was sitting beside her. That is not engagement. That is not a like or a share. That is a wife finding a way to open up a dialogue and into a conversation with her husband that she didn't know how to start on her own. The men didn't comment, but maybe, just maybe, some of them were listening through the women who did. And that is why I wrote that post. Here is what is becoming abundantly and undeniably clear to me. This whole thing about supporting men and providing space for men to open up and to be vulnerable and to share and to let them know it's okay to have feelings, all of this stuff starts with our boys. That's where we have to start, with our young boys. We have to teach them early, before the world teaches them otherwise, before the world teaches them that we need to teach them that it is okay to have emotions. We are humans. We are emotive beings. We all, women and men, have emotions. It's time to start embracing them, men. These emotions that we have, they're not the enemy. We have to teach them that asking for help is one of the strongest and bravest things that a human being can do. That vulnerability is not the opposite of strength. Because guess what? It is strength. Let me say that again. Vulnerability is not the opposite of strength. It is strength. Because the man who suffers in silence at the age of 45, he was once that boy who got told to toughen up and put on your big boy pants. Stop crying like a little girl at the age of 8. That boy of 8 years old deserved better, and so does the man that he has turned into. So, to every man listening to this episode right now, I want you to know you are not weak for struggling. You are not broken for feeling things. No human is broken. We just need help and support and guidance. You are human, and that's it. That's all this is. And to everyone else listening, please check on your men. Not the surface level, hey, how are you? The real question, the one where you actually wait to hear the answer. This doesn't take away from anything that I've built here in Empowerography and this Empowerography platform. It doesn't compete with my mission to amplify and elevate women's voices. It walks right alongside of it, side by side. Because at the end of the day, this has always been about lifting people up. All people. We can't do this alone. All the men in the world can't do this alone. All the women in the world can't do this alone. We have to get our shit together and realize that the only way forward, the only way we are going to have the impact that we all desire as light workers, as heart-centered, heart-minded people, is that we have to do this together with one another. We are meant to do this together. Not alone as all the women, not alone as all the men, but together as human beings. And we have to do better for our men, for our boys, and for all of humanity. And hey, if you know someone who is struggling right now, please reach out. It doesn't take a minute to reach out and check up and check in. Call or text 988. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. It's free, and someone will pick up. This is a very important topic, so please, I hope this lands and resonates. And I hope this helps to change the way we look at our men and the way we support our men. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Brad's Corner. I'll see you on the next one. This is Brad Walsh. Keep showing up and shining. Thank you for tuning in and spending this time with me here in Brad's Corner. If something I shared spoke to you, pass it on. Share it with someone who might need that reminder today that their light still matters. Together, we rise higher, shine brighter, and help shift this world, one heart at a time. I'll see you in the next episode.